Oh, how cool. I kind of feel like you got to know the guy a little bit there from some of the thoughts he shared. Okay, next game. Well, it's clear what we gotta do. Okay. Very blocky style. Kind of cool though.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Easy, he says. So, I bet I bet it's not going to be as obvious, but let's just do this. Cool. Do we gotta open this door? Okay, so nothing in the dark, nothing here. You just left click to interact, so it's quite easy just to check. Well, I guess. Unless we're being screwed around with it and there's actually no way to solve the puzzle. Alright, so... We got one switch, we got two doors. Press it again. Huh? Okay, wait a second, I saw that. Oh my god, it's so simple. Come on. That is crazy. The handle was on... The switch for this door was always on the other side of this door.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're going to see it a lot.
Okay. Alright, cool.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
What will be revealed? Okay. That's really cool.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Very cool, very MC Escher. I didn't expect that. Here we are again.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
It's really cool. I think it's clear that we're seeing someone's inner thoughts and personality represented via the games that they're creating. Okay, this is cool looking. There's something really nice about just the white background and the out of place timber or brick actually house. Well, let's explore. That's what we're supposed to do. I always like to try and find the edges.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do.
True.
So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Okay, I thought this looked familiar. It looks like we're viewing games created in the Source engine, a great engine. I think Half-Life, Half-Life 2, Counter-Strike? I'm not sure, but definitely Half-Life. A lot of well-known games. So let's enter the Streetwise Fool. Looks like a fine place to sit outside with a Mai Tai, perhaps a Singapore Sling. So let's look around. Can't go. Oh, I can go in here. Nice bathroom. Reminds me of a hotel. Oh, okay. Looks like we have a basement. Can I skip past that? Oh, yes. Ah, damn it. I was hoping there'd be something there. So let's follow the obvious path. Oh, wow. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, my God. Oh, please. Yes, I'm okay. Okay. It did. That was not set up. It's hard to detect the edges of these just from looking over. What a cool level. Lots of geometric shapes and simple colors. Probably some of the basic building blocks of a Source game. In fact, they look like almost like background construction parts or structural parts that you're not actually supposed to see. Then again, they could be designed. Okay, let's try and make our way to the bottom, because there's no way we're getting back to the top with this piddly little jump. Okay, so let's go. Let's go. I just love jumping puzzles in an FPS. Sorry, in a first-person game. This is not an FPS. Okay, this one here. I can see the bottom coming up now. But, oh, fuck. Oh, well, we can't die, right? Yeah, of course, it's a Coda game. No one's dying. I hope. Very cool. Look at the path back up to the top. And just also consider the contrast as well between the first area and this second area that we've now entered and passed through. A house in a white landscape, following down the basement stairs into a jumping or falling section with some geometric shapes, all grey or orange or white. And then probably entering another section through this spiral staircase. Let's see where we go. There's a glass wall. There's a continuous. What is that? It's probably just a light, but now I feel like I need to check everything. Yes, it's just a light. Okay, let's move it. Let's move it into the. Okay, the. Shit! That actually made me jump. That fucking gate. So let's move into these cattle pens. Is that what they're called? Hope I'm not going to be attacked by a load of cows. It's not a jump scare game. It's a comedy game. I knew that was going to happen. You can see I'm getting nervous. static. Okay. Damn Twitch reflexes. What the fudge? Oh, I can't just walk off it. That's a bit weird for a Coda game with all those nice automatic gates and being carefully shepherded that there's just an invisible thing here. But hey, listen. I haven't developed any games yet. Oh.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
We don't mind, Davey. You're such a pleasant man.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Sounds like you learned something, Davey. I like Davey. He's a good narrator. I mean, although I just feel like maybe at times, you know, he might be the one guy at a table who, you know, knows art really well. Maybe that's because I'm the guy who's like, well, I don't know much about art, but I know what I like. This probably says more about me than it does about Davey. So let's be fair.
It's the puzzle again.
Yay!
With the exact same solution as the last time.
Okay, no problem. In we go. And out we go.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Yeah, interesting. I must think about my own interpretation of that. So how... Okay. Yeah.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Okay, you there. Did you come from up above? What was up there? There was worlds stamped with whiteness. Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were these floating coloured blocks. Well, they asked about the world up above, so that'll be number 1. Yes, I did. Okay. I don't remember how I solved it. I'm trying to remember, but I can't. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Trust me, you don't want to go there. Okay, well, as someone who tends to try and go for the honest or most accurate answer, I don't think any of these represent the most honest or accurate answer, so I'm not sure. I will go for... I just have to go for 3, I guess. That's it? Ah, okay. I love the fire. It's like a 70s it's like a 70s house. Hello. How did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes, do you want to know how to solve it? No, I've been here. So yes, we'll go for the honest answer. So, no, we actually find a black space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Let's see. I did feel strange when I passed through it. All that mist or fog or smoke or whatever it was. Don't think too hard about it. Okay. Very intriguing. I feel like there are different possibilities, different routes, and probably not.
So we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
It's probably quite, strictly corridored, but yet they've managed to insert more atmosphere and feeling into these really basic levels just by clever use of sound and direction. It's actually quite amazing and very impressive. Okay.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Okay, sounds amazing. I've always been interested in developing a game myself, so this might be interesting insight into that. Also an interesting insight into myself. I think some of the themes I'm already seeing here are stuff I could think about also. Okay, so we're connected to the internet. All notes you see are left by other players. Right? Really? Because... Okay, so this game is maybe connecting to the internet and players are leaving notes, and maybe I get to leave a note as well. Jeez, I hope I don't have to try and be profound on camera. I'll probably just make some poo reference. Or some terrible quote from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Oh. Excuse me. Nice room, not. Well, I think it's nice. So screw you.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
I don't get how it's a game that was never meant to be played.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much. is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Yeah, okay, despite that last point about him feeling less lonely too, I actually think he makes a really good point that work, especially video games or movies, we only ever look at them in terms of what they offer to us, what message, how much entertainment, and that's perfectly normal and fine as well. But isn't it a really interesting angle to view that as something like a way of getting to know a person? So what was the person like who created this? I mean, we do that all the time with art. Sometimes you'll look at a painting done by an artist and they will have they'll all have a similar style, and you'll wonder about what promoted that, what caused them to paint like that, why do the paintings always look a particular way. Definitely an interesting angle. Speaking of paintings, okay, well we're gonna blast by some of these. I feel bad. Somebody hand placed all of these, but I think we gotta get down to this painting. That's probably where the zombie attack is going to happen. Buckle up. Ethical. Today I learned you cannot fall off. True. Okay, let's take a look at this. Really cool. I really like this painting. Just a lot of circles, isn't it? That was just a terrible joke. I actually really do like it. True enough. I'm beginning to learn that there may not be a significant meaning to everything you see. Which is, you know, for a reviewer of video games on YouTube, it's definitely a cool experience to think that the only thing I need to do is just experience it, just walk through it. Yeah, maybe it's a walking simulator, but it's a very touching one. Okay, let's go down the tunnel.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution. He understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Yeah, I get that point. So each game is representing and exploring a particular issue or topic on Coda's mind, and then the door puzzle at the end of each level is a reliable way of closing off that section. Interesting. I'm trying to catch what some of the voices are saying. But I can't really, so let's...
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Yeah, interesting. So the black space we're in now is is kind of a space between finally closing off that area. It's a place for reflection on the concepts and themes that Coda was trying to display within the level that preceded it. It's a really cool thought, actually. But let's move on. And we have reached our lamppost.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Okay, so... Looks like we are in a living room. Oh, no, I thought these were blinds or some kind of shutters, but they're actually bars. Love the music. Oh, awesome wallpaper. Oh, look at this. I could live here. Just get some IKEA furniture in and Bob's your dad's brother. Oh, where?
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Okay, in version 2, we simply place the furniture in the room. I say simply, but I'm sure Coda has something else in store for us. So I would like to start with a TV, with a giant hole in the ground. Absolutely. Okay, well, it's a coffee table. No problem. How about along the wall of the room? I would like 10 stoves. Oh, okay, well, or a couple of sofas. We should light it up a bit. So the only way to light up a room, as everybody knows, is to put live Tesla coils in each corner. Yeah. Or that lamp would be fine. Yep. We do need a table. Do you know that tables were invented in 1935? This is the perfect IKEA room. Love it. Okay, well.
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
No, it's just it's the back storeroom of IKEA, isn't it?
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
God, north, I hope. This guide will help you escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. Oh god, okay. So, first to click on the table. Done. Go over to the photo frame, click to turn it slightly. We're gonna have to remember this shit. Table, photo, lamp. Oh Jesus, table, photo, lamp. Table, photo, lamp. Table, photo, lamp. Table, photo, lamp, sofa. Table, photo, lamp, sofa. Table, photo, lamp, sofa, shelf. Table, photo, lamp. Shit. No, wait. Table, photo, lamp, sofa, shelf. No. Table, picture, lamp, sofa, shelf. We got this shit. We got this. Okay, let's escape the prison.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.